Welcome, everyone. Today's story is one of strength, humility, perseverance, and legacy. This is the story of Arthur Jones, a man who lived with integrity, played with heart, and left behind a mark that will never fade. His was a life built through discipline, molded by family, and defined by resilience. For those who knew him, Arthur was more than an athlete. He was a father, a brother, and a man of quiet power. His journey from a humble beginning to the grandest stages of professional football was as inspiring as it was hard-earned. And though his life ended far too soon, his story continues to echo across the lives he touched. Arthur Willis Jones III was born on June 3, 1986, in Rochester, New York. From the start, his strength was evident, not just in his build or his athletic gifts, but in his spirit. Growing up in a competitive household, he was the eldest of three brothers, each destined to carve their own path in sports. His younger brothers, Chandler and John, would later rise to national fame. Chandler as a star defensive end in the NFL, and John as one of the greatest mixed martial artists the world has ever seen. But long before the world knew the Jones family name, it was Arthur who led the way. He was the steady example, the anchor, the big brother who showed through action what commitment really looked like. At Union Endicott High School in Endicott, New York, Arthur's potential began to take shape. He was dominant on the field and disciplined off it. Coaches saw in him a player with more than just size. He had a mind for the game, a work ethic that refused shortcuts, and a humility that drew others to him. He became a local legend, not because he boasted, but because he let his actions speak. When he earned a scholarship to Syracuse University, it was a moment that validated every early morning and every sacrifice he'd made. At Syracuse, Arthur Jones transformed into a true force. Playing for the Orange, he became one of the most respected defensive linemen in the Big East. His teammates described him as focused and fearless. He didn't chase attention, he chased excellence. His senior year was supposed to be his grand finale, but an injury tested his resolve. Instead of letting it define him, he used it as motivation. That season became a turning point. Arthur learned that greatness isn't about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. In 2010, the Baltimore Ravens selected Arthur in the 5th round of the NFL draft. It wasn't the glamorous first-round selection many dream of, but it was an opportunity, and Arthur knew how to seize it. The Ravens were known for their defense, for legends like Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, and Ed Reed. For a young lineman like Arthur, this was the perfect environment to grow. He entered the locker room with respect, humility, and hunger. Veterans quickly noticed his drive. He was the kind of player who showed up early, studied film relentlessly, and played with a quiet fire. Over 4 seasons in Baltimore, Arthur earned his place. His hard work paid off in the form of consistency, trust, and eventually, glory. In 2013, his contributions helped lead the Ravens to a Super Bowl victory over the San Francisco 49ers. That night in New Orleans, Arthur recorded a sack and recovered a fumble, cementing his role in one of the franchise's most celebrated moments. For him, that championship ring was more than a symbol of success. It was proof that perseverance triumphs over doubt. After his time in Baltimore, Arthur continued his career with the Indianapolis Colts, where he signed a multi-year contract. Though injuries would follow him in those later years, his professionalism never wavered. He brought leadership and experience to the locker room, mentoring younger players and teaching them that greatness is found in consistency, not just highlights. Even as the physical toll of the game took its course, Arthur's mindset never broke. He was the definition of resilience, a player who gave everything he had, every time he stepped onto the field. When he retired from football in 2017, Arthur Jones didn't chase the spotlight. He didn't need to. His identity wasn't tied to fame or attention. It was tied to family, to character, to a deeper purpose. He remained close to his brothers, guiding and supporting them in their respective journeys. To those who knew him, Arthur was the heart of the Jones family, the steady, grounded presence that kept everyone balanced. Off the field, Arthur Jones was a devoted father to his son, Arthur Jones IV. He carried his responsibilities with pride, always striving to set an example of strength and integrity. His humility extended into everything he did. Whether he was coaching kids, speaking with young athletes, or simply spending time with loved ones, he radiated warmth. His smile could lift a room, and his energy had a way of making people feel at ease. He was a man who celebrated others, who listened more than he spoke, and who lived with gratitude for the opportunities life gave him. But on October 3rd, 2025, the sports world was shaken by devastating news. Arthur Jones passed away unexpectedly at his home in Pompey, New York. He was just 39 years old. Reports indicated that his home's defibrillator system had activated, prompting emergency services to respond. He had a known heart condition and lived with a pacemaker, though the exact cause of death has not been publicly confirmed. What is certain is that his passing was sudden, tragic, and deeply felt by all who knew him. The Baltimore Ravens released a statement expressing their sorrow, remembering Arthur not only as a Super Bowl champion, but as a man of profound character. Arthur's presence was a gift to everyone he encountered, General Manager Eric DeCosta said. His big, bright smile, infectious energy, and eternal positivity created a presence that continuously uplifted others. Those words captured what many already knew. Arthur Jones was one of those rare people who made the world feel lighter just by being in it. His family, including his famous brothers, shared emotional tributes. John Bones Jones posted a heartfelt message, calling Arthur the foundation of our family, and thanked him for being a guiding light in their lives. Chandler Jones, who had shared the NFL field with him, described his brother as his hero. Their grief was evident, but so was their gratitude for the years, the memories, the lessons, and the love. Fans across the country also paid tribute. Former teammates remembered his sense of humor, his strength, and his unbreakable spirit. Coaches recalled how dependable he was, how every team he played for became better simply by having him in the locker room. For those who only knew him from the field, Arthur's story became a reminder that even in the world of fierce competition, humanity still shines through. Arthur Jones leaves behind a legacy that transcends statistics. Yes, he played in 64 games, recorded 173 tackles, 10 sacks, and forced 2 fumbles. But those numbers tell only a fraction of his story. The real legacy of Arthur Jones lies in the people he inspired, the teammates he supported, and the family he uplifted. He was the embodiment of consistency, the kind of person who never sought the headlines but always made an impact. His journey reminds us that success is not just about winning. It's about how you carry yourself along the way. It's about discipline, humility, and staying grounded when life tests your resolve. Arthur understood that better than most. His life was a living lesson in resilience, a message that true greatness comes from perseverance and compassion combined. Even after his passing, Arthur's influence continues to ripple outward. His story serves as a beacon for young athletes, those who dream of the big leagues, but more importantly, those who dream of doing things the right way. He showed that leadership doesn't require noise, it requires presence. That love doesn't need to be spoken loudly, it needs to be shown daily. The image of Arthur Jones in his Ravens uniform, standing tall on the defensive line, will forever be etched in memory. But beyond that, the picture of Arthur laughing with his teammates, hugging his family, or mentoring kids in his community, that's the version of him that lives on most vividly. His life, though brief, was rich in meaning. It was full of the kind of moments that remind us of what truly matters: love, purpose, and integrity. To everyone who admired Arthur, whether as a player, a brother, or a man, his passing leaves an ache that words can't fill. But the stories shared, the memories cherished, and the lessons he left behind form a legacy that time cannot erase. He may be gone, but the example he set remains a light for those still on their journeys. So as we remember Arthur Jones, let's not only mourn his passing, but celebrate his life. Let's celebrate the boy from Rochester who turned his dreams into reality, the young man from Syracuse who became a champion, the teammate who gave everything to the game, the brother who lifted his family, the father who loved deeply, the man who lived quietly but inspired loudly. Rest in peace, Arthur Jones. Your story is one of triumph, compassion, and unyielding strength. You showed us what it means to play with purpose, to live with humility, and to leave behind a legacy defined not by fame, but by love. Thank you for joining us in remembering the life and legacy of Arthur Jones, a man who taught us that true greatness isn't found in the roar of the crowd, but in the quiet moments of character that define who we are. If his story moved you, take a moment to honor him. Like this video, share it with others who appreciate strength in silence, and subscribe to stay connected to stories that matter. Because some legacies don't fade when the lights go out. They live on in the hearts they've touched, and Arthur's light will never dim.